What's up, comic book fans, and welcome to Comics Icons. Now, JJ what they call me, and today we got more Fall of the House of X by way of another new 4-issue miniseries, starting with issue 1 of Miss Marvel, Mutant Menace. Now, I know that a lot of people aren't really fans of Miss Marvel, and understandably so, but hey, it's the Fall of X, so we gotta cover every issue, right? So if you guys are ready to find out how this new Miss Marvel series, co-written by the MCU's Miss Marvel, Iman Vellani, fits into this Fall of the House of X, then you guys know what time it is. Let's get it. So this issue kicks off with Kamala taking on this guy that's a member of the Purifiers. And she just beat the brakes off of this guy. Now, he had been a fan of Miss Marvel, even commenting that she actually saved his nephew some time ago. But now that she's out as a mutant, things have changed. He's got no love for mutants. But nevertheless, she takes him down pretty easily, then hands him off to the police. But here you can see that there's even a split amongst the officers, when one officer is thankful for Miss Marvel's help, but his partner wants to report her to Orchis. So you can kind of already tell the theme here, that a lot of people are going to be split in whether or not they support her. And it doesn't matter how much she's helped in the past. Her being a mutant now, she's going to have to deal with a lot of people turning their backs on her. And we can actually see this as she's walking back home and is hearing all of the local conversations about her. Not to mention the Mutant Watch app that people are now glued to, showing updates of where she's been spotted at. Some people even think that this X-Men version of Miss Marvel is a clone of the original. But Kamala finds refuge when she heads down to the Morlock tunnels, the current hideout for the X-Men. And when she gets down there, we actually see Wolverine getting his Chef Boyardee on, cooking up some breakfast for the team. He's even found him an apron with an X on it. But it's great to see Deadpool down here providing some comic relief while he's disgustingly clipping his toenails at the table. Eesh. But meanwhile, Kamala gets scolded by Psylocke, who's monitoring the Mutant Watch app, which is full of Miss Marvel sightings. And Monet St. Croix, aka Penance, notices that Orchis has actually just bought this Mutant Watch app. So now Kamala needs to be extra careful. And Wolverine, he actually suggests that Miss Marvel take a break from being Miss Marvel for a little while. He even acknowledges how she took down Orchis's underground lab single-handedly. And cheap plug here, because this channel started with the last Miss Marvel series called Miss Marvel the New Mutant, I'm gonna need you guys to feel free to go ahead and check out those videos on how she actually took down Orchis. Thank you very much. Plus, you guys can see how far this channel has come since then. And I'll make sure I place a link at the end of the video so you don't have to go searching for it. But Wolverine tells her to just focus on school right now. Then later on, we see Kamala's school, and class has already started when Kamala strolls in pretty late. But we've all had those teachers with eyes in the back of their heads, right? And if you could relate, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. But even though Kamala seems to stroll in quietly, her teacher still manages to notice and then threatens to involve Kamala's parents. But what really has Kamala distraught right now is that both Zoe and Nakia are calling Miss Marvel a traitor now. Now, I'm sure most of you guys know that Kamala's friends did actually know that she was Miss Marvel. But when Kamala was resurrected, Emma Frost had wiped everybody's minds, so that's why these guys don't know anymore that she's the same person. Just a little FYI if you're wondering. But later on in gym class, Kamala confides in Bruno that she really wants to come clean to Zoe and Nakia about being Miss Marvel. But she's not sure how they're going to take the news of being mind-wiped of Miss Marvel's identity and death. While Bruno, meanwhile, takes a dodgeball straight to the head. But Bruno lets her know that she can't tell them now. Because back in 2015, when Kamala's friends had dressed up as Miss Marvel and ran around the city pretending to be her when Kamala was on a break, Orchis ended up interrogating these guys, all while Kamala was away at ESU. So with them now being on Orchis's radar, it's not safe for them to know the truth. And I kind of find it funny how most of these comics tell you to do the right thing, but then at the same time that it's okay to lie to the people closest to you. I get it though, You can't go around revealing your secret identity for the safety of those close to you, but it's still kind of funny to me. Because sometimes it's that ignorance of not knowing who a person is that gets them in trouble anyway. But Kamala understands what Bruno's getting at, and she reluctantly decides to keep the secret. Meanwhile, both of them get absolutely crushed in the head by a couple of dodgeballs. Say what you want about Miss Marvel, the character, and I totally get it. Although me personally, I kind of like the character. But her issues have been pretty fun, and the artwork is really well done too. But then we transition over to Mumbai, India, with Dr. Natika Gaya, formerly of Orchis, who walks into a tailor shop, and we get the reveal that she actually had a tailor replicate Miss Marvel's original costume. And when he asks her what she plans on doing with the suit, all she says is that there's something very special about Miss Marvel, and she intends to show the whole world. And we can see that since the Miss Marvel the New Mutant series, Dr. Gaia has been pretty singularly focused on Miss Marvel. But back in Jersey City at the mosque, we see a volunteer soup drive, but it's way emptier than usual. But that's because a week prior, Orchis had showed up and conducted a full search on everybody that set foot on the mosque property. They had been looking for Miss Marvel and had satellite photos of her standing on the rooftop there, so they assumed that there was a link to Miss Marvel in this mosque. But then Kamala walks up to refill the soup bowl and happens to overhear everybody talking about Miss Marvel, and she actually gets a little bit of joy when she sees that at least somebody there has her back. But then we see her back in the kitchen cleaning up while on the phone with Bruno, and actually has to act like Bruno is a female when she's told to put on a hijab when talking to boys. But Bruno had been monitoring the Mutant Watch app when it got a hit close to the mosque, so of course he had to make sure it wasn't her. But now that he knows that it's not her, he then tells her that she might need to suit up, as we then see a plant-based mutant that's just robbed a jewelry store and knocked out a couple of cops. Then he fires off at one of the bystanders who has his camera phone locked in on him. But then this guy grows him some wings and attempts to make his escape when Miss Marvel shows up and catches him. But as they begin to go back and forth, we can see that in the background, somebody's actually watching them while looking at Miss Marvel on the Mutant Watch app. Then we get this guy's name revealed, that he's thinking about calling himself the Planter, which Miss Marvel, she ain't quite feeling. But then this guy tells her that her name isn't even original anyway. But while these two are fighting, they get interrupted by horticulture. And I gotta be honest, I love when these old ladies show up. They don't quite make a whole lot of sense, but man, they're kind of entertaining. But these ladies immediately go on the attack, and Kamala is able to hold them off until she begins to have another one of her spasms that she had been experiencing lately. And I'm wondering if these spasms have anything to do with her mutant powers coming in. But I guess we'll have to just wait and see. But because of this spasm, Miss Marvel is forced to regroup, so she shrinks herself down to hide. But now these ladies have this planner guy, and Miss Marvel can't just look on as they take him away to who knows what kind of tortures. So she gets an idea. Since this guy's arm had changed when it hit a tree back during their fight, and it took on the tree's properties, that maybe his powers are like a reflex when he encounters plant life. Then as we see the ladies cornering this guy in and threatening him with all sorts of experimentation, Miss Marvel runs up holding a dandelion and grows back to normal size and gives it to him. And this guy immediately turns into the dandelion, and then she just blows him away. Literally, no pun intended. But now the horticulture ladies are pissed, and they turn their attention back to Miss Marvel now. And just as Miss Marvel is about to fight these old ladies, she's interrupted by that mysterious figure that had been watching her during her fight with the plant guy. And this person tells Miss Marvel that they've been waiting for the right time to do this, but it doesn't look like there's gonna be one, so they're gonna have to pull her out right now. And then Miss Marvel is teleported to space, which Kamala finds very irritating. But then is teleported again into a crowd of cheering fans. Then Kamala realizes that she's been teleported to a rock concert, and now her excitement is very obvious as the artist comes out and reveals that it's none other than Lila Cheney, an interstellar mutant rock star with the power to teleport. So that's who had been watching Kamala and teleported her, and now Miss Marvel is thrilled and screams out how much she loves Lila Cheney. And that, my friends, brings us to the end of the issue. So what did you guys think? Like I said earlier, I know a lot of people could care less about Miss Marvel, but I do find the few issues that I've read of hers to be pretty entertaining, which for me, reading comics is all about. But between this and the last Miss Marvel series, I think Iman Vellani is doing a pretty decent job. Now, I admit that these aren't the most compelling stories, like what Marvel has going right now with Avengers Twilight, but they're still pretty fun. But what did you guys think the significance of Lila Cheney teleporting Miss Marvel was all about? And also, what do you guys think that Dr. Natika Gaia has up her sleeve that she wants to reveal to the rest of the world about Miss Marvel? I really love to hear you guys' thoughts on this. And like I said, since this series is directly tied to the fall of the House of X, then I do plan on following all 4 issues. But if you guys enjoyed this video and this channel, and you'd like to support the channel, then you could do so by joining the Iconic Fan Club channel membership. And I'll make sure that there'll be a link in the description to join, but with your membership, you'll gain access to weekly interactive live streams with yours truly, right in front of the camera, where we could talk about everything that's been going down in these issues, as well as ones that you'd like for me to go over in the future and other comic book news. Plus, you guys will also get a preview of what's to come on the channel, and you'll get loyalty badges and member shoutouts and more in these videos. Or you guys can donate to the channel with a super thanks. And if you're not able to do that, then you can still be a huge help to the channel by dropping a like, share, and subscribing to Comics Icons for more icons in the comic book world. But ladies and gentlemen, you already know, it's about that time. I'm out. Peace.